find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down in towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it. Medeiros
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such chopper. He's not just second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry.
Hello everybody and welcome to the iGPFun Formula 3 round once again here on Sunday nights. It's season 4 of 2023 and we're here for round 9 of this championship. It's Sebring International Raceway here tonight as we enter the final third of the season here for this time around. We're getting to the business end. We're very much looking forward to bringing these final few rounds to you. My name is Ewan Leary. I'm alongside Dean Biggles here for this round of the championship here. Round 9 here from Sebring. And I'm very much looking forward to this. A big entry here once again. I can see 47 drivers out on the grid at the moment, all in qualifying, ready for the race that is starting very, very soon. Before we go any further, let's have a look at those championship standings before we go into this one. This is, by the way, the total points. Remember that all of the drivers will have 2 drop rounds to take into account over the course of the season, and so this may give us a slightly skewed view as to what the championship looks like, but it gives us a fairly accurate view as to where people are. Kenty Newhoff at the top by 12 points ahead of Max Bartolotto, with Antonio Jimenez and Adam Townsma tied in 3rd place. Conor Gibb is running at the top 5 with Robert Ridgway 6th. Then it's Luca Verani, one of the guys who obviously pushes this league and does a lot of work behind the scenes. Of course, ahead of Greg Seitz in 8th place. Truck Morrow and Pedro Suarez round out the top 10. Then it's Andy Flint in 11th, ahead of Evan Way, who does jump up fairly considerably with those drop weeks, I have to say. Edward Amos, is in 13th place ahead of Ivan Zuranow. Then it's Stuart Milne in 15th position, and then a little bit further back from that in 16th place. The rest of them will come on your screen in a few moments' time. Christian Glamsuter next up, of course. He's been up there in a couple of races so far. Not really a championship charger this season, but he certainly is capable of maybe getting a podium, maybe even a race win over the course of this season. Shaq Williams is in 17th, then Ben Goyette. Then it's Max Orlovs, who's in 19th, ahead of Timo Brun, who rounds out the top 20, and then there's a go to the rest, of course. That is the championship standings going into this round, though, of course. 1/3 of the season remaining, 4 rounds, if you want to count it in that way. Excuse me, 4 rounds. I am counting it correctly. Remaining in the season. Welcome along to one and all. Good to have you along with me here this evening. My name is Ewan Leary alongside Dean Biggles, and we're looking forward to this one, Biggles. It's Sebring once again. It's the Formula 3s which provide such good racing, and it's towards the end of a championship season. We can't ask for much more than that, with the stakes rising with every round as we get closer to that final round at round 12.
Yeah, you're right, Ewan. Welcome everybody out there. Say hello in the chat if you are tuning in live to many of the drivers that you had mentioned there on this fantastic classic circuit at the moment. You might even hear little screams of cars and stuff like that in the background, because they're getting excited in my neck of the woods in the commentating and broadcasting a trailer. And so far, well, there are a lot of drivers, and anyway, this man sitting in pit road at the moment, it's the quickest during our qualifying session currently at the moment. We're gauging at the end of, if give or take about a minute and change. I don't think anybody's even going to challenge him. Max is out here, so the Italian stallion that I have called him in the past. Still haven't agreed whether or not he agrees with that or if he does, but there he is. He's got to put in he needs 2/10 here in Sebring.
Yeah, he's improved on that lap, but he hasn't improved his position. He's still 3rd. Ahead of Kenty Newhoff, actually, who hasn't qualified so well, down in 9th place, his main championship rival. However, we always know, and we repeat this every week, if you are a regular watcher of the iGPFun F3 League, you will be very accustomed to be saying this, or James, Kenty Newhoff races better than he qualifies. That is an absolute fact. And in 9th place, I would be imagining that that's probably the lowest place we see him all day long. Greg Seitz has gone a little bit wide through Sunset Bend there. Oh, and that's a bit too wide, actually. You can normally bring it back through there. There are a million lines and a million ways you can go through that corner, but that's not one of them. He'll go into the wall, and that'll be the end of his day. There's Aaron Smith, who's in 8th place at the moment. He's also got a lap going on at the moment. As the checker flag flies, he will be one of the only drivers allowed to complete this lap. There's not many left out on the circuit.
Let's hope he can get it done, isn't it? We're riding on a rear angle shot here of Sebring. Beautiful conditions for racing, of course, as it is. No rain lurking in the background nor hovering in the forecast future for iRacing, but Aaron Smith needs to get something done. And check this out. We'll go through that grid as soon as those final qualifying results go in there. But you're talking about this, Ewan. From P1 to P19, separated by 1 second. Blink, and you are in different places right now.
Yeah, it's absolutely remarkable. Tony Jimenez makes his way up to the top 10 with a good lap time at the end there, and that's not an improvement from Aaron Smith at the end, but there's Jimenez. He's up there in the championship. If you apply both drop weeks, he's up there inside the top 3, so watch out for him over the course of this race. In the 2500 championship, by the way, Stuart Milne is leading that by 22 points ahead of John McKenzie. Rinus Coutinho only 1 point back then, back further, and then it's Dorian Arroyo who's in the position further back from that, so watch out for those 4 or so over the course of this race, because they're the 4 main contenders for the 2500 championship. And in the teams championship overall, it's the Hydra Race Racing Forces, I should say, leading the way ahead of No Limit Sim Racing. That's of course with the drop weeks applied, as I just have done, leading by 82 points as things stand, as we watch Koji Ito on his slightly early morning. You can see it's Japanese, of course, but on his slightly early morning, running a bit wide and won't be improving. It will be about a second back from the pole sitting time here. Rishi Tapera will be the next driver over the line, and I'm pretty sure that one of the last ones here, Biggles. I don't think Jimenez has got another lap here. I think this is going to be it for qualifying.
It would have to be at this point, isn't it? Look at us sliding the rear in the corner and down into the final dying stages of qualifying. Will it be enough? There's Barney waving the flag there. And will he go? No, Richard will stay in 28th place as one of the last drivers on there. The New Jersey driver there. Hey, I'm driving here. Come on, I'm not going to do that. He'll murder me, isn't he? Anyway.
I'm not going to join you in American accents, by the way. That's a road to catastrophe. So
we're in Sebring, my friend. You are in the United States of America right now. That's
true. That is very true. We are, by the way, in America next week as well for the Detroit race. That's Belle Isle. Then we've got Laguna Seca coming up. Then we've got Watkins Glen. We've had our final round in Europe. We're all up in the United States now from here and into the very end of the season. So make a look out for that over the course of the next of the 4 rounds. Thiago Marto is clearly enjoying it. He's ahead of Benjamin Figueroa in the... Frigerero, I should say. Is that better? Don't know. He's in second, ahead of Max Bartolotta and Timo Melikangis, who are on row 2. Samuel Hermer and Ivan Van Hoek will be on row 3, ahead of Greg Seitz and Aaron Smith. Kenzie Newhoff and Tony Jimenez, 2 of the championship contenders, round out the top 10. Pedro Suarez and Dustin Smith round out row 6. Good opening qualifying for Dustin Smith here this round, ahead of Christian Glamseater and Will McIntyre-Jones, 2 regulars of this series. So is Luca Veroni. He's in 15th, ahead of Evan Way. Andrea Carter is alongside Mako Volkering in 18th. Kojito and Clark Williams round out the top 20. Robert Ridgway and Simon Fessi round out the 11th row, ahead of Stephen Ridders and Vyacheslav Potapenko. In 25th position in the standings, we have got Richard Wested. He's alongside his American compatriot Chuck Morrow. Then it's Conor Gibb and Rishi Tapero with Chris Stewart and Nick Carty rounding out the top 30. Zoltan D'Amato and Ivan Zuranau is a long way back in 32nd place. Matthew Horton is alongside Alex Hopkins on row 17. Dennis Cornu and Marcelo Kessler. He's in 36th. 37th position is going to be Stuart Milne. Reed Dennis will be with him, with Rino Scattini and Giovanni Solito on rounding out the top 40. Matthew Gracie and John McKenzie will be next to Patrick Rowlands and Maximilian Gerhardt, with Dorian Arroyo, Adam Townsmer and Philip Lucas rounding out the massive 47 car grid we have for round 9 of the iGPFun F3 League here this evening. Almost all of them are on the grid at the moment. We're ready to go racing here for this round of the championship as it gets to the business end. As the drop weeks are applied, only 2 points between Kenty Nieuwhof and Max Bartolotta at this stage of the championship after 8 rounds. The lights are on at Sebring and we are underway. It's not a good start from Benjamin Fregerio, I've got to say. As we get things underway, it's Thiago Marteau who's got things underway very well from the opening position of the grid. Max Bartolotta has got off to a good start as well. He's into second place. Then Samuel Hermer is not at a bad one either. Greg Seitz is up to 4th. He's alongside Benjamin Fregerio at the moment, which is an interesting battle for those two because it's not been a good start for the Frenchman at all. He's dropped from 2nd to 5th off of the start of this race. We're properly underway now for 25 laps. Not a good start for the Frenchman, but almost everybody behind has gained some places off of this start.
Yeah, and look at this. At the moment, Max looking to take a P1 there, but it is what it is. You can see those positions gained and lost. Apologies for the little flickerings and lights and stuff like that. I just think at the moment I need a supercomputer to handle this stacked grid of talent. And we have many more laps to go, of course, 25 of them to be precise. And the action is all over the place here at the moment. Now, Ewan, I mean, where to call, where to go? Well, we all know position gainers and losers, and there it is. Lap 1 still.
Yeah, there they are on the left-hand side. Timo Milkangis, unfortunately, has lost a few. Down the inside there goes Pedro Suarez, I think, on Dustin Smith was that maybe, in towards the right-hander at Tower. That's turn 13. A good overtaking opportunity if you want it. Van Hook goes down the inside as well in that final chicane. That's not an ideal situation for Fregerio, although Van Hook goes very wide, and Fregerio is going to go straight back through here. Straight alongside through the Ormond Straight and has the inside line for Sunset Bend, of course, which is an iconic corner in the world of motorsport. Fregerio makes full use of that and gets through back inside the top 5 again, but it's not been a good start at all, and that has been compounded by the fact that there's a lot of cars queuing behind him at the end of this opening lap.
And we're about to start another lap at the moment as they're all trying to just get into the gears there, get into basically into the session and so forth. There's all that flickering and stuff like that. It's just causing an absolute dramas, and I do apologise once again. Kind of out of our control with this fully stacked grid. Now, you've commentated many races before in the past where you've had so many drivers all eager to be a part of this fantastic iGPFun racing league there, round 9 here that we have. Many more to go. At the business end, they're starting to separate a little bit. You remember too, during qualifying, they were within a second of each other, so expect some fantastic racing.
Fregerio is making up some of those places that he lost on the opening lap. Pick dive down the inside of Van Hook. Inside of Aaron Smith, actually, in towards turn at the bottom of the course, although I suppose it may have been Van Hook, actually. Is it Aaron Smith trying to make up some places as a result here? On the outside line going into Cunningham, that's not going to happen. Pedro Suarez and Timo Milkangis are waiting on from behind, and Milkangis is going to be on the outside line of turn 11 and 12. Inside line now at 13 at Tower Corner. This is where it's important, and Milkangis is going to finish the move on the inside there. That's nicely done. Aaron Smith has to tuck in behind, and there's not much you can do when you're on the outside in that position there. Good overtake in the end. And if you do get pushed out wide, out of line around this circuit, you can see a lot of cars down you inside. That's what Aaron Smith has unfortunately fell afoul of. Milkangis goes through, but they are sort of resigning themselves to this battle. A second has now opened up between the top 5 and the rest of the field.
It's going off here in Sebring, and it's expected to be. I'm seeing one driver perhaps has made a little bit of a mistake, but so far, considering the amount of grid and the stacked level of competition we have here, that is very impressive. Very impressive. We didn't have a big pile up there causing massive problems, and that, of course, as our race crosses the line there. 1 second change at 53.4, setting the fastest lap, getting comfortable with the car, getting comfortable with the track and the track conditions. But who's not comfortable here at the moment? Not too much, because there is action-packed.
It absolutely is action-packed at the moment. It's been an interesting start to this race. Thiago Marteau converting that pole position into an early race lead here. Max Bartolotta second ahead of Samuel Hermer, who's had a good couple of weeks, I've got to say. Greg Seitz and Benjamin Fregerio round out the top 5. And you're watching the battle for 6th place on backwards at the moment. Timo Milkangis at the front in the red. This car you can see in the background. The light blue is Aaron Smith. Then it's Ewan van der Hoek with Pedro Suarez just behind. Further back, Tony Jimenez is trying to hang on to places. and it's proving difficult right now. On board with Justin Smith as he tries to make his way up the inside and towards turn 10. Here he goes, the American, later on the brakes, and he will make his way through, although it's a big slide. He's probably too late on the brakes, and he may well pay the price for trying to make such a bold pass.
He's trying his absolute best on lap 3 here, and well, it's difficult at one for overtaking, and look at that. It's absolutely crazy and insane as you'd expect there. Samuel at the moment there, and Greg are still going for it too for now. That's for battle for P3 and P4. But that action zone that you just mentioned there before, and the cameras were on, is still where it is. A little bit further back, there's a ton of action here as well too at the moment there. But yeah, I think Ewan will probably keep focusing on that very battle that you were just establishing before.
Well, I've got to say as well that, by the way, that in terms of the championship, this is proving to be a pretty big race as we go side by side with Pedro Suarez and Van der Hoek at the moment. Round the outside for Van der Hoek. What a fantastic attempt this is. He'll be on the inside for turn 1, and that could prove to be the place he wants to be. And he will have 8th place here. Yes, he does. Pedro Suarez has to fall back around the opening corner of the racetrack, but want to divert your attention back all the way down to 36th position in the field, because 27 places lost so far. Kenzie Newhoff, the reigning champion, the championship leader, is having a very difficult day so far. He's been down pit lane already, which shows that he's clearly had some kind of problem, and he may have had to use his faster pair in the opening couple of laps of this race. In fact, I might be able to work out he was indeed on lap 1, I think, when he came down pit lane. Although I can't tell you that for 100% sure. This is a big day for him now. He needs to gain as many points as he can. He needs to keep Max Bortolotti in check as far as this championship is concerned, because right now he would once again lose his championship lead at the very least, because he would be tied on points with Max Bortolotti, and he would lose the championship lead on races won so far over the course of the 9 rounds. What a close championship we're having so far.
It's absolutely fantastic. The top 3 still building a gap there. And 2 Greg Sainz there. Benjamin right behind him there. And forget me trying to pronounce the name of the Finnish driver in P6. That's up to you, my friend. You learnt the English language. You are English. But that's Finnish. Perhaps he finishes way up there. Go ahead.
Yeah, Tim McCaggett. You're making me trip over it now. Timo Minikangis, sorry, is in 6th place. We're watching the battle though from Tony Jimenez further back. Justin Smith is the one you're seeing just in behind, and having a look at the moment in towards Sunset Bend. Here he goes. He's going for this fairly late, but not quite too late. So inside line he'll go, and into 11th place he'll go. Oh, big slide though, very big slide. Well fought though round the bumps of that final turn, and Jimenez will be back in the slipstream again. 3rd place in the championship coming into today, looking for every point he can muster. Now round the outside through turn 1 is a brave one, but he might well go for this. It's a long way round. He extends the distance of this racetrack and won't go through on this occasion. He has to fall back into line behind Justin Smith, who in the end makes a good move and executes it well as well, to be fair, because he fought that car fiercely around Sunset Bend and held on to it for that position.
Oh, amazing, amazing, amazing. Continue there for a second one, Fred. I got a little bit of technical issues at the moment there in the background, so just keep with the program as we have it live.
Yeah, it's Max Bortolotti is on your screen at the moment. He's a couple of seconds back from Thiago Marto, who at the end of lap 5, as we're coming to at the moment, about half a lap away from, is leading this race around here at Sebring. Just behind Samuel Hermit. He's trying to hang on ahead of Greg Seitz, and then we've got Benjamin Fregerio in that position. Vasta Potapenko has been off with Horton, I'm afraid to say, further down outside the top 20. We may well have end up having a look at that a little bit later on, because unfortunately Matthew Horton and Vasta Potapenko have both been off the... Oh dear, oh dear. And Horton has got no front wing. That's an odd place to find yourself, actually, I've got to say. Didn't quite catch the very start of that. Apologies if I was looking away at the time. I was scanning the timing screens. But an odd place to find yourself, I've got to say. Let's have a look at it here. Horton's down the inside, and he's just not given the room. And that's a difficult one to call, especially when both of those two probably couldn't see each other quite as well as they maybe wanted to. But nevertheless, it's a strange place to collide with someone else.
Well, you're going to collide anyway. You don't want to collide with another driver. Greg on the background there at the moment of Samuel. We still have our race leader. We still have a little flickering and all sorts of jazz going on. That's just basically we're pushing the absolute limits of iRacing's capacity of handling this many cars on the track at once, which is a great indication of how fantastic this league is in order to have so many people signing up and racing. And it's getting super, super excited. I'm seeing lots of race control messages happening at the moment. There are incidents occurring because we have so many drivers all over the place, as it looks like at the moment you are not seeing seizures or whatever in your eyes. It's just the way it's all trying to pan itself out. I thought it panned itself out by now, but it hasn't quite done it yet. But Christian Glamster is in a mix of cars here down in P13.
Oh, he's looking down the inside of Tony Jimenez, who's given him the room, to be fair. The two of them will go side by side. Luca Varani will look for a way through here as well, but he will be conservative as always in looking his way through. He won't try to go and make it 3 wide. Here we go from up above now in towards Cunningham into turn 10. And on the inside, Clancy, who's going to prevail in that one. Jimenez will fall back and Varani won't get involved as well. It's always a smart idea really at this stage in the race, or at any stage of the race to be fair to him, to just take things slightly conservative. Pick up the points that you can from this kind of race. And not get involved in anything too silly there. Luca Varani did the right thing in not getting involved in the battle that we just saw for 12th place.
They want to, they absolutely want to, but the thing is, it's like you want to get positions gained already. 6 of 25, so it's business end and time, and here it is, it's business time. You got your racing socks and your racing gloves on. That's what it says. When you're down to your business socks, it's racing time. And it certainly is back here in the field. Go ahead, Ewan.
There we go. Luca Varani was down the inside there. Michel Vockering will be as well. That was quite close to the wall for Tony Jimenez. This is not a good race so far for the driver third in this championship. He's only 17 points off the championship leader, Kenzie Newhoff, as things stand. Not a good day at all. Timo Milikangis sort of made the junction between these two groups at the moment, and Greg Seitz is now at the front of this one. He's in 4th position. He's got the rest of them further behind with Frugerio, Milikangis, Smith, Van der Hoek as well, all in one long line. This is the kind of thing you see in the iGPFun F3 League. This is the kind of racing that we get, and it's being headed at the moment by Greg Seitz for 4th position. That's going to be a concern to the championship contender. He'll be concerned that he'll be overtaken fairly regularly in the next 15 laps or so.
Oh, we're going to find out, aren't we? Sorry, apologies once again for this flickering and all sorts of jazz that's occurring at the moment. We're trying to bring the entertainment as best as possible. We are pushing the absolute limits of Sebring, pushing the absolute limits of iRacing's capabilities, and the drivers are pushing everything they can to get positions gained and losses. And who's that?
Milikangis has just gone into the side of Seitz there, I think, because he was going on the inside of Tower Corner. Now Seitz is going to be in trouble with Smith as he makes his way down the inside. Oh, too deep, way too deep. Oh dear, oh dear. And back through again will go Seitz. Well, this is a topsy-turvy battle. As soon as Milikangis went through, he was back again. And Smith has fell the same fate as well. Backwards they'll all go. Smith and Milikangis as in this one. Van der Hoek's going to gain some places as a result. What a strange battle, as any driver who goes through immediately is struck backwards again. 1 step forward and 2 steps back at the moment it is in this battle for 5th place.
Oh, look at that. They're on the absolute limit on the edge. It's bumpy, it's dusty, and this track takes no prisoners, and it certainly isn't taking any prisoners. In fact, if you don't get a prisoner, the other driver up the road is going to send you to the back there, send you to the gallows perhaps, to be hung and dry as we're continuing on lap 8 of 25.
Yeah, it's the most engaging battle, I would say, in the top 10 at the moment. Well, it's the only train, of course. None of the other gaps are below a second right now. Starting off with Greg Seitz, who's at the front of this train now. Benjamin Frugerio has done a very good job to get himself away from this. I mean, when you're in a train like this, it's pretty difficult to actually get yourself away, but that's exactly what the Frenchman has done. He's gotten himself away from this situation. He's done a very good sort of against the odds job of doing that as well. And you've got to take your hat off to him for that. 1.4 seconds at the moment. Greg Seitz is now at the front of the train, and he's the one who's got all the pressure on him with 4 drivers stacked up right behind him.
He's trying the absolute best there at the moment there for the Northwest 74 machine there. SimCube on the back there. Well, you're going to have to try to find more rounds to your cube there, Mr. SimCube driver. As you can see, the 41 machine there is hunting him down. That's the Finnish driver. like to finish a little bit ahead. 2 positions lost at the moment here for Milikangas.
And let's see, as they make their way through Le Mans, a corner which was getting a little bit of chat before the end or before the start of the race, I've got to say. There was a little bit of discussion about how the Le Mans chicane would be taken. It's a very important corner, of course. You need that run onto the Ormond Straight for this run down in towards Sunset. And I'm not convinced myself as to whether it's the best overtaking opportunity around this circuit, but maybe you could say that it is. I suppose if you weigh things up, then maybe it is. But even so, that means the Le Mans chicane is going to be very, very important nevertheless. Greg Knights knows that, and he knows Sunset Bend's important as well. He needed that good run off that corner to fend off Milikangis, who's going round the outside of turn 1. What a move this would be! He's sliding his way through as well. That would be so impressive. That means he's on the outside again at turn 3. Oh no! 8 was just a bit too brave, I'm afraid. And in the end, he's going to find himself in the middle of the road and smashed into by Andrea Kata. That is such a shame for Timo Milikangis, who gave it a right good go around the outside of turn 1 and turn 3. But I'm afraid it's not turned out well for him.
He's cooked it and he's booked it, unfortunately, and that is just how it's called a motor race, as Mikey would say back in the day in the FIA. But this battle's still brewing, of course, still for 4th place, and even though you have 1 contestant down, you have many more in the challenge. And here it is right now.
Oh dear! Wow! Vanderhoek down the inside of Greg Seitz, and he is into 5th place. I wasn't expecting that at all, considering how difficult Greg Seitz has appeared to be to overtake. Vanderhoek has just made it look very, very easy there. I'm not sure whether that was just absolute commitment from him or whether it would have been that easy for Milikangis to do as well. But fair play to Vanderhoek, who's made his way through, and now Aaron Smith wants to as well. What battle hitting in towards the Le Mans chicane they go, and Aaron Smith goes through as well.
That's brilliant, brilliant racing. Doesn't really worry about the 22 car leading this by 2 seconds and change there from our Italian stallion, and Samuel in the P3 position. This is the hot zone right now, and it's certainly here in Sebring, and we have 17 to go.
Yeah, 17 laps remaining in, or 15 laps remaining even in this race. 16. I don't know. Neither of us can do maths, but it's that. And anyway, you can tell that much. Vanderhoek is at the moment at the front of this train. I think it was Greg Seitz who was the cork in the bottle earlier. Not trying to say that Vanderhoek is a cork in the bottle right now, but Aaron is certainly quicker than him. And there's the illustration. Vanderhoek just cracking under the pressure. Aaron Smith goes through into 5th place, and I think finally now this train is finally settled into the positions that maybe they should be in at the 10th lap of this race. I think Seitz was struggling and he was the cork in the bottle, but I think Smith looks quicker than Vanderhoek at this stage in the race.
Yep, you can obviously clearly see that on the track when you can, and it's brilliant racing. 16 to go. We've read some of the news information about the tyres to start falling off the cliff soon. That's going to be very, very interesting how they're going to handle it there. Struggling even as it is. Further back in the field there, a little bit of a gamble going on here for the Swiss driver in that P11 position up against Christian Glamstow, who's battling it out in his championship hopes as well. Ewan, and so they're going to be following each other, but I still think we have to continue back again, isn't it? Aaron Smith now in that 3 positions gained, 46 machine, leading this man, Vanderhoek.
By the way, the talking points that we were handed at the start of the day included the Le Mans chicane, of course, that we're coming up to right now, getting a good exit onto that Ormond Straight. It's a right-hander, of course, heading on to that one, but slightly difficult to see the apex through there, although you can use that bit to the left-hand side just to open out your corner a little bit more, and there's a pretty big curb on the outside as well. Luca Veroni seems to think there may be a tyre slight problem, or he seems to think there might be anyway, a slight tyre problem over the course of today. Kind of depends how warm it will be over the course and how hard you are on your tyres as well. So let's see what we can see here tonight with that in respect. There's still a long way to go. We're not even halfway through this race just yet, so tyres have got a long way to fall off just for the moment. Thiago Marteau leads the way by 3 seconds out of Max Bartolotto. Samuel Hermer is running out the podium at the moment with the top 5 battle, the one we're watching at the moment. Aaron Smith is holding on to that one. Here is the battle for 9th place. Justin Smith ahead of Christian Glamsitter, and Luca Veroni, who handles that information at the start of the day, goes a little bit wide through turn 1, and he stays close to Glamsitter. He's slowly edging his way through this field, as he so often does in these races.
Getting it done when you need to get done on track. Of course, you've got plenty of time to go. 15, you said. We're getting closer to the halfway point of this race, and he knows that anything can happen up the road. Well, not too much of the top 5 actually. At this point, they've got a gap, but still, it is lurking. It's brewing in the back of the 222 machine. Look at that, taking through the S's. That's just skill, bold, brave, and commitment that you're going to need here. But the fun. It's iGPFun. We're having fun, aren't we not?
Absolutely. I hope these drivers are as well. I suppose why not? Because it's been a good race so far. About halfway through. Obviously, you can't divide 25 by 2, but you get the idea. Robert Ridgway has been overtaken by Stephen Rinnes down the inside in towards turn 10. And Tony Jimenez will close up as a result of that, but it's not been a great day for the Spaniards so far, I've got to say. To see a championship contender down in 16th place is a slight surprise, really.
Continue, my friend. We'll try to fix out the technical issues in the background there. If you continue just to keep it all handling at the moment, because Greg is still hounding on the back there of the Dutch.
Oh!
Well, we presume it's Dutch driver, but we'll talk about that after the end of the race. No doubt. Let's see.
I don't want to go out on a limb there, but normally the drivers tell us what nationality they're specifically from instead of their iRacing nationality, if you like. But Van der Hoek at the moment is defending from Greg Seitz, who's going to squeeze him to the inside. Now it's round the outside. It's a long way round there, though. Van der Hoek knew exactly what he was doing, holding on to the inside line and taking that 6th place away once again. This seems to have been sorted out fairly nicely because Aaron Smith has gotten through into 5th place and he's getting away now. But this battle for 6th place seems quite well matched.
And it certainly is continuing to go, and it will continue to go for many more laps of this race. 14 of them in place, still going for it tooth and nail. He's not going to do it here. Certainly going to size him up.
Wide.
No.
There we go. Greg Seitz finally through. He was faking it to the inside last time. Van der Hoek now is given the open door, and through he goes into... through goes Greg Seitz, I should say, into 6th place. There we go, through on the inside on that position. Did see, by the way, I think it was Robert Ridgway off the road, I think, at the last lap. That's not particularly ideal, I've got to say, as we approach the halfway mark in this race. I think I saw him, although, to be fair, everyone seems to run wide through turn 1, and it often tells us whether they are off the road or not. So that's probably what that was, in all honesty. Robert Ridgway, by the way, who loves a bit of a pun, a bit of a play on words. You were with me, Biggles, actually, as we were chatting to him a couple of weeks ago, and he loves a bit of a play on words, does Robert Ridgway. So I'm sure he'll be thinking about that as he goes around the circuit at the moment, because even we weren't thinking about it, and we're only commentating on the race. He was driving and thinking about puns as he was going along a couple of weeks ago. So I enjoyed that, but unfortunately he has lost a couple of places as a result of that one. A couple of seconds either side of him at the moment. Over the line goes Justin Smith. He's still in 9th place. Has a Christian Klapseter in 10th, and he sets a new personal best, does the Norwegian. Good lap time from him. Good to find himself in the top 10 as well. Klapseter goes wide off track on that occasion. Not particularly ideal, I've got to say. Luca Varani is involved there as well. He's the next car that you can see in line. It's a very similar train to what we see with Greg Seitz, Ewan van der Hoek, and also Pedro Suarez as well. Here they are, all fighting for 6th place. It's a battle that we've had for the first 13 laps of this one, and it may well continue to the very end of this race. It certainly doesn't show any signs of going away at the moment.
Oh, he's going to give it up there, riding on board right now with the number 7 position, the number 39 machine. Sizing up. They need to, because the leaders are way up the road now, quite a significant amount. Oh, I mean, considering we had a 1 second gap in qualifying between the top 20 drivers around Sebring, you can see the track map. It's fully stacked with drivers. We're looking at number 7 down the back straight. And so he's going to have to follow here at the moment. Greg Seitz, it's up the road there. The American driver running in P6 there, 74 machine. That's the blue one. You can see, look at that different racing line entrance here. Let the cars slide there, almost like a glorified go-kart. And they are F3, of course, machines from So, you know, you're getting your way up to F2, F1, of course, the ultimate step that you want to be in the challenge. But actually, more than anything, he's got a little bit of a problem with Pedro behind as well, too, the Portuguese driver.
Yeah, Suarez has been getting closer as this race has gone on. Not particularly close in the championship at the moment, I've got to say, Pedro Suarez, but he's not a million miles away either when you look at it like that. He is P7 at the moment, and at the moment 32 points away from the championship lead. At the moment would be losing points to Max Bartolozzo, and that's not really getting him any closer. Wow, what a dive that is from Van der Hoek. Very late, but he's done it with conviction, and that's what you need to do. Greg Sarth, though, says no. He defends on the inside in towards turn 3. Oh, and he might well do it anyway. Van der Hoek round the outside. Oh, that may have been contact, not sure. It certainly kept them both on the road, which is very good indeed, but goodness me, that was close if indeed there wasn't any contact. Greg Seitz now is on the front of this group once again. He's under more pressure than before, though. Van der Hoek back to the outside all over again. Seitz breaks late, so does Van der Hoek, with Suarez not entirely sure where to go in this third place of the group.
I would sit back at the moment and let them two battle there and seize an opportunity, because what they do is scrubbing speed Spider's groove. You clearly see that Pedro's got the pace. He's caught him at a rapid rate. And at the moment, he's letting these two drivers just go for a two for now. And why not? Have some fun, but be very cautious and seize an opportunity. If gap car, as Ensign would say.
Well, there's almost no gaps here. There's no doubt about that. Seitz, Van der Hoek and Suarez right on top of each other as they complete the end of lap 14. Only 11 to go at the end of this one. It's been a race that has flown by so far with its racing and the battles that have gone on in this race so far. Seitz at the front of this group again. I don't think the exit is good enough here from Suarez, who we're on board with, to really trouble anyone into this sunset bend, but Van der Hoek may well be close enough. He's not got a bad run off of Le Mans, although he's not close enough from him. Oh, well, maybe he is. Oh my word, he does like a late move, and that's another one to add to the list. Van der Hoek to the inside, and Pedro Suarez goes off the road. Oh, he's down to pit lane nearly as he goes off. That's a remarkable spin from him, I'm afraid, and not to be writing over out. He'll be passed by the next few as well. Christian Glamson, Dustin Smith and Luca Varani will go down the inside of him. Yes, they will in towards turn 1. And Pedro Suarez there may have saw an opportunity, but he's lost 3 places as a result of that spin.
Oh, just like that, isn't it? I was hoping to get a replay of that if I possibly can, but we don't have probably enough time as we're getting down to the absolute no limits of racing now of Christian. And look at this, 11 to go. Lead is not much at the top 5 that's occurring at the moment. There's a few battles that are further back, and trust me, there's a lot of stacked grid here. There's lots of action, but we're really focusing around this group at the moment. And that's it. You got a maximum risk and maximum reward, isn't it, when you try to get some overtakes done here?
Unfortunately, that maximum risk didn't result in any reward for Pedro Suarez, I'm afraid. Koji Ito has been off the road and he's dropped a couple of places, I'm afraid. Dennis Cornu has just got in front of him down there outside the top 20. Not sure what's happened to the driver of Koji Ito there, unfortunately. John McKenzie will be closing up as well, and that is a real shame for Ito, who has unfortunately come unstuck somewhere around the circuit. Suarez a bit wide there through Tower Corner as well, which just disconnects him from this group. This is exactly where we want to be watching, though, in this field. It's been interesting battles up the front of the field, but they've all gone away pretty much immediately at the start of this race. Thiago Moto has got 10 laps to go, including the one that he's just about to begin here at Sebring. This is where you want to be watching, though. This is where the interest is. On board with Luca Varani, just looking at Justin Smith in front of him in towards Sunset Bend. He's not close enough on the way in towards here. Nowhere near fast enough in a straight line. Christian Glabseater is at the front of this train, by the way, and maybe not helping Justin Smith. They all run a little bit wide, try and get as close to that wall as possible. Now Varani will maybe make the move. It will have to be a late one in towards turn 1, but we have seen some of those so far today, albeit mostly from Van der Hoek, I've got to say. Varani decides not to go for it this time around, and that is no surprise considering the way that he drives.
Oh, he's going to watch this attempt, and there's a spin!
Oh, no!
And he's got nowhere to go. He manages to avoid. That's Dustin Smith going around. Dustin has to stay there for a little bit. He's got a bent, I think that's bent suspension. Everyone's got to hopefully squeeze on through there. Very difficult to come out of the exit of that corner at high speed there, and just like that, that gamble unfortunately has not paid off. The river card did not lay the flush or the straight that he wanted.
good avoiding driving there. I've got to say, we were riding on board, weren't we, with Luca Verani. That's exactly what he does. He avoided very well the incident up in front of him, and it's made him off with the position, I suppose. He has lost some time to Christian Glamsuter, of course, but that would have happened anyway, as Dustin Smith drops himself right in with Kenty Newhoff. Oh my word, look at the championship leader. What a drive he's having so far. He's ripping his way through this field. Someone in the YouTube chat, by the way, and hello to everyone who's watching in the YouTube chat here this afternoon, or this evening I should say, believing that maybe there was a pit lane start for our championship leader, but nevertheless, pit lane start or an early pit stop, it was a remarkable race, really, and is a remarkable race for Kenzie Newhoff as Benjamin Frigerio applies pressure to Samuel Hermit.
Yeah, this is battle for P3 currently at the moment, so he's been reeling and reeling and reeling in. So here it is. So you got the Frenchman versus the British driver for the final podium position. Everything else looks locked in and secured as long as they don't have any major dramas. Of course, there's traffic all over the place. They will have to navigate that. Don't talk to James about blue flags. Still aware that he was... No, that'll just start a whole debate. We don't even have enough time because we only have 9 laps to go there. So, yeah, sorry, James, if you are paying attention out there and watching. No blue flag situations at the moment. Drivers will have it, but we won't negotiate and talk about it. This is it. This is, as we saw the other battle below, we still have another one in P12 and P11. But for now, and there's also a ton of other battles that are occurring further down the field, but we have to be focusing on 1 or 2 at the moment, and we're focusing on this one. Can he get it done? With the traffic as well.
I think the way that Frigerio has caught Samuel Hermer here, the way that now he's driving, in terms of keeping this at arm's length, I think he's done it. Oh no, well, I've spoken too soon. He's gotten into the grass slightly, and Samuel Hermer will gain a couple of attempts, although he went slightly wide himself. That's sort of the line through there, and Hermer is closer than ever, pretty much since he overtook Benjamin Frigerio for that position. I'm not going to say that again because it was nearly a spoken too soon kind of moment there, and the Frenchman certainly would not have been pleased with me. I've got to say though, it's been a good resurgence from Samuel Hermer over the last couple of races to get himself a good couple of results as Michel Volkering has gone off the road at another strange point. That's somewhat bizarre, I've got to say. You don't have to see cars off there.
Here comes Kenzie. Kenzie looking on the inside there of Tony. And we know Tony, who is the Spaniard driver getting it done there. Obviously in the almost similar livery, isn't it, than his other Spaniard countryman, no doubt. Probably one of his heroes, Fernando Alonso, as he's back.
Yeah, certainly hope that we're all okay and still coming to you live at the moment. Not sure what's gone on at the moment. Has the server had a bit of a problem, or are we having problems on our end? Very possibly. Apologies for that if that is the case.
I think it's myself. I think there might have been a little bit of an issue.
Here we go.
We're back. We should be back. Thank you very much. It's going to sort itself out in a minute. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride.
A little bit difficult with us today for whatever reason. Sometimes these things do happen. And unfortunately, it is being slightly on the difficult side for us this afternoon, which is a bit of a shame, unfortunately, because it's been an engaging race around here at Sebring. Thiago Marteau still leads the way. Max Bartolotta behind, a good 11 positions ahead of Kenty Newhoff, who's still on course for his worst races of the season. This would become his drop round, and as things stand, Max Bartolotta and Kenty Newhoff, I say his drop round, one of his drop rounds, I should say, because you get 2 in this season, and this would be one of them to the very end, I would imagine, Kenty Newhoff. If things were to stay as they are at right now, the 2, Kenty Newhoff and Max Bartolotta, would be tied on points going into round 10 at Detroit Belle Isle. What a final few rounds we are going to have of this series. Are we going to get a series repeat of what we had 2 seasons ago with Lee Aberdeen and Kenty Newhoff tied on points at the end of the season? Lee Aberdeen only winning because of countback on race wins. What an amazing season that was, of course. We're shaping up for a very similarly engaging race and an engaging end to the season here as well in the iGPFun F3 League for Season 4 of 2023. Not many rounds to go. I hope that you are somewhat able to see what is going on out there on the circuit as things stand right now. We'll try and update you best we can. Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah. What happens if you go out and in a virus? Guess the countdown's the only option, maybe. Find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult. The understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down in towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is... Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
To the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah. It's all about the entertainment, so I hope
Tell.
everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself
Oh,
watching.
dear.
And Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Well, welcome back to the iGPFun of 3 League 4, Season 4, Round 9 of 2023. Apologies for those couple of problems. Hope you're still with us here this afternoon, this evening, in this race at Sebring. Couple of laps to go, 2.5 laps to go for Tio Kiago at the front of the field. Nearly 4 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Max Barcelotta, who is about to level up with Kenzie Newhoff at the front of this championship. Kenzie down in 11th place, having just gone through on these few. It's still Ewan O'Leary alongside Team Biggles here this evening. I say, hope you're still with us here. Apologies for those technical problems, but still plenty of battles going out on the circuit here, Biggles. It's not as many as we saw at the start of the race, I think it's fair to say, but that's only normal. 2 laps to go. I'm just wondering to see whether Tony Jimenez can make up any of the places that he's lost over the course of today. Well, it's certainly all right for now. Greg Seitz, he's 4th if you apply 2 drop rounds to the championship. He's 4th in the standings. He has not been here for 2 rounds, though, which is really dipping down his overall score, and it's not giving him a safety net to fall back on either over the course of the season, which is really unideal. He looks to the outside as Ewan van der Hoek as he tries to find his way through. Outside again at turn 3. No, that's not going to happen. Sykes just defended well here, I think it's fair to say. He's not at the pace of those around him, but he's not let too many drivers get past him, and I think that's the aim of the day, really, when you're in the position that he's found himself in. Not quite this time. Van der Hoek not late enough on the brakes. He's cut back though. Looks to the outside again. And he'll look to the outside here through 12. And oh, well, he thought about 13 at Tower Corner, but I think Greg Seitz was wise to that one. In the end, held the inside line, and there's going to be no way through. It's not really a corner where you can get that that wide line on the way in and a cut back and a good exit on the way out. Now another look to the inside again. He can tell it's towards the end of the race. He's looking for almost every inside line there possibly is around this circuit, but he's not finding any that's giving him any positions at the moment. Now the outside again. This looks like a replay almost. Round the outside he'll go. Bit more commitment this time though. And he brakes later, slides a little bit. Greg Seitz gives him just about enough room. Now it's outside again of turn 3 though. Even when he commits a little bit more, as we've been hoping that he would do, it's not played out for Van der Hoek, unfortunately. You've got to hand it to Greg Seitz in that situation, because Van der Hoek has given it a little bit more this time. He has given him a bit more of a go, but still can't find his way through. Oh. Contact! Unfortunately, it's ended in tears. Van der Hoek on the inside with Greg Seitz trying to close down, and in the end it's turned out badly. Christian Clancy to get through as well. Luca Verani may look to benefit from this incident as well. A great battle, unfortunately, comes to a disappointing end for the neutral, as we were enjoying that one. An incident, and Van der Hoek is up to 6th position in the end, but further up front, Thiago Marteau is back to winning ways again in the iGPFun F3 League. It's winning at Sebring again for round 9 of season 4 in 2023. Not many seconds in front of Max Bartolotta, who ends up winning the fastest lap award, if you like, with a new best at the very end of the race. Bosimo Fregerio rounds out the podium as well at the end of 25 laps here at Sebring. Unfortunately, it's a disappointing end for Ewan van der Hoek. He's 6th place, but it's a shame for the neutrals like ourselves to see that battle with Greg Seitz come to an end in the way that it did. Difficult to say, but I think, yeah, for Greg Seitz especially. I mean, Van der Hoek has not really been here very much this season. I think this may even be his first round, although I can't say that with absolute certainty. I think it is. Greg Seitz is certainly not his first round, and he doesn't have a drop week to fall back on. Unfortunately, that's cost him 3 points as that move, so that's a disappointment for him. And maybe Luca Verani will be snapping his heels in the championship now, although only having gained 1 point in him, to be fair. Gap is not going to be too worryingly coming back down at the end of today. In terms of the championship leaders, though, we've had a big change. Max Bartolotta is now tied with Kenji Nieuwhof. Those two performances from themselves were pretty decent. Nieuwhof starting from the pit lane, we believe. Bartolotta converting into a 2nd place because nobody looked like they were catching Marteau here today. Tied going into the final 3 rounds. We're set up very well for the end of this championship this season. Well, It's a fitting name for Tiago Motto as he makes his way towards the pit lane. I'm sure everyone is over the line now. We'll take a look at the race results very soon at the end of 25 laps around here. A fantastic race for Tiago Motto. He wins ahead of Max Bartolotta, the new tied championship leader ahead of Benjamin Freserio. Samuel Herman and Aaron Smith join them inside the top 5 with Ivan van der Hoek in 6th place. Christian Glancy made up some places there to get 7th to Luca Verani. Greg Sykes with that spin at the end finished 9th ahead of Pedro Suarez rounding out the top 10. Then it's Kenzie Newhoff who fought his way through the field to 11th. Stephen Ridders finishes 12th ahead of Cool McIntyre Jones, Justin Smith and Tony Jimenez to round out the top 15. Disappointing day for Jimenez in some ways, unfortunately. Robert Ridgway finishes 6th ahead of Chuck Morrow. Then it's Rishi Tapiria with Dennis Cornu and Koji Ito the top 20. These guys just outside a minute, of course. Sultan Demoto was in that battle, by the way, with John McKenzie, Adam Towns, Matthew Gracie and Alex Hopkins rounding up the top 25. Then we get towards those who are on the tail end of the lead lap and those who are off the lead lap as well, of course. Maximilian Gebhardt, Dorian Arroyo and Rino Scattini, the farm drivers on the lead lap. Giovanni Solito, Stuart Milne, Ivan Zura now, I should say, and Patrick Rowlands all were a lap down, not finishing the race. Unfortunately, in the end, were Evan Way, Reed Dennis, Marcelo Kessler, and unfortunately about 12 others, which is a pretty high attrition rate for this circuit. Mikhail Volokering, Nick Carty, Vladislav Potapenko, Timo Milakangis, who we saw go off the road, Andrea Carter, who went into him, of course, and hit him on the very same lap, Chris Stewart, Clark Williams, Simon Fessy, Connor Gibb, one of the championship contenders, Richard Wedstead, and Philip Lucas to round out the drivers who unfortunately retired from today's race. Well, Biggles, it was a decent race and an important one for the championship. The two leaders are now tied on points, but nobody was catching Tiago Motto, I should say. Apologies to him because he was absolutely flawless today, and as you say, not on our camera screens very much, which is sometimes a good sign.
My God, I'm sorry, and it's very apologies. I was muted there for a second because of our technical issues, but it's a hard name to pronounce, and he's a hard driver to also catch. But it's going to be fantastic, isn't it? Tied heading into the dying stages of the season with two drivers going for a tooth and nail. I'm be looking forward to this. Do apologize for all the technical difficulties that goes on. That's live entertainment for you. It happens. I mean, even the best of the business. So you get Formula One do it, NASCAR do it, IndyCar do it. We do the best, but we don't have the 10,000 crew that are surrounding us. It's just you, me, and of course the fantastic JP Broadcasting Network. And James actually was in the background to help me out too. So he's not even on his day off. He's still delivering their results on this fantastic network. So Ewan, do you want to wrap it up, my friend?
Yeah, absolutely. Big thanks to everyone who's been tuned in here this evening. As you said, big apologies for the slight problems throughout the middle of that one, but I hope you enjoyed the broadcast nevertheless. I've been Ewan Lear alongside Dean Biggles here this evening, and that's it for round 9 here from Sebring. Until we see you in Detroit for round 10 at Belle Isle, of course, with 3 rounds to go in the iGPFun F3 League. It's goodbye from us, and we'll see you next week.